my shirt
baby.
literally 5 seconds
Already?
ago. 5
You
seconds
couldn't
ago.
wait till we actually started to eat the burger
I haven't
after you
even-
saved it all this time.
I haven't even eaten anything. I unwrapped it while we were in our little break, thinking like I'll be ready. And then I touched my shirt and left cheese on my shirt. I haven't even had anything. Oh, you want to laugh at me? What did you just do, Andrew?
I may or may not have dropped all of my fries all over my desk.
Yeah. Exactly.
With the Cajun seasoning and everything.
Oh,
Welcome.
great.
Welcome everybody to episode 500. This is
Yeah.
it's a special
made
day. So special day means we get special overlays.
Hey,
Yeah.
I forgot about this.
So we've got a lot planned for this evening.
Wait,
and-
Colin's here. Why don't you show Colin a little something?
Oh yeah, hey Colin, take a little look at this bad
yeah.
boy right here.
Colin, I still have like 200 of those somewhere, so I didn't feel it
You
necessary
gotta
to
send
flex
those. You
one.
need to give them to me at least.
I'm just kidding. I
No,
sent them to
he
him.
has them. Colin has
Okay,
them.
good. I was like, I don't trust you.
I am wearing for the occasion all of the pins that Master of One has ever produced, including our 2 hot seat pins, and then our 3 logo pins, and then of course the artist series, one of one series that we did, Colin Schlicht's Inception little thing.
Totem.
Totem.
I grabbed all the M of 1 pins I have, and then some from some of our listeners. Like Kreider made this little Grogu one. This is the one that we all have like the pieces of from the Deathly Hollows thing.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
and then I have Shauna's and Doc's, and this is one that Kate and I have.
There's no way I could have.
And then Will and I both have that pin.
If
that's
I were trying to do pins from all of our listeners, you wouldn't be able
grabbed
to see me.
like the ones I found as fast as I could.
Yeah.
Jason Craig, yo to you. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't see you in here very often, but thank you for stopping by. Will, Mavtrav, Kate, I'm sure Kreider's here somewhere. Becca, everybody, thank you for stopping in. And Rune Sleeper, thank you for the follow. So Andrew has done something. It's not that he doesn't do it often, but I would say maybe a little bit more this time, and that's that you have basically done all of the heavy lifting on this episode to prepare something amazing for us.
Yeah.
Before we get into it,
Yeah.
do you want to real quick tell people what we're all doing and why we're going to be rude and eat?
Yeah. So we way back in the day, and we're gonna be taking a serious walk down memory lane here in just a minute.
Yeah.
But way
This
back
whole
in the
episode
day,
is like, remember when?
this is a true throwback episode.
Yeah.
Way back in the day when we didn't think we were even gonna make it past 2 or 3 episodes, we celebrated our 5th episode by going out as a group and celebrating it with 5 guys, burgers and fries. So in fact, the episode was called "We Made It to 5 Guys," and because we honestly weren't sure that was going to happen, and
we did not have a female host at the time, so it was perfectly
so
acceptable.
It made yeah. So in celebration or commemoration of that, we all went out and got 5 Guys burgers, and Patrick can't show his fries because they're gone.
Already ate 'em.
I have a good chunk of fries.
I was
left.
competing with Mackenzie. I had to be quick.
So we
Oh,
will be,
Luke, what's up?
we will
And it
be
tastes great.
occasionally snacking on our dinner while the episode's
Okay.
going. But
Let's talk about that, Will. Will just said most expensive episode yet. So,
Oh yeah.
2
Yeah, please.
burgers, 1 fry. Mackenzie and I split a fry, not a large fry. Economical. We split a regular fry, $30. That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm glad we only celebrate this every 495 episodes because I can't afford more often than that.
my dude, I got you beat. So
My
I had to
dude.
DoorDash mine because I was still getting things prepared for tonight. And I think after tax and tip, it was $38. for my
I
dinner.
guess I got it the best where it was only 24 with a tip at the store, but I also had to
Wow,
drive 40
economical.
minutes to get it.
Oh,
To be
I
honest,
got
I didn't tip them.
I did get a milkshake. I forgot. The milkshake's not out here. I got a milkshake. So that's what boosted me the extra $12, I guess.
Just
Wow.
a soda for me.
All right, Andrew, what are we doing first?
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Here's how this episode's gonna go. In just a second, we're gonna start things up, and we're going to keep the train going. But here's what we need for you to do. If you are watching this right now, then you get to participate in this. In fact, we want you to participate in this. So we're going to be going through our top 5 lists. And each of us are bringing top 5 different lists, different top 5s, but we're all bringing top 5s from the show. And the end of the show is actually going to be, we're going to throw it out to you guys as the listeners. And so we want you to tell us your favorite moment from the show. This could be from 2 weeks ago. This could be from 2 years ago. This could be from episode 3.
It could be from nearly 9 years ago, we learned this week.
Nearly 9 years ago. We've been doing this show for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
Did a lot of research this week on.
Yeah,
on the stuff
you're
that
like
we've
the
been
M
doing.
of 1 historian today.
Truly, that it is what it feels like.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. But before we jump into all that, I want to show you guys. Well, we need to intro the show. We need to actually start the show. So this was all pre-show. We're glad that you're here. We're excited to celebrate this with you. But let's get the show started properly. So we're going to give us a count in 3 and 2 and 1 and...
Way fast, but it's fine. We
did
wasn't
it well,
even
though.
connected, but it's okay.
Took us 500 practice turns, but we finally got it
Still
right.
garbage.
Hey, we took a hiatus from clapping, so.
Yeah. Okay. We are ready to rock and roll. Here we go. Welcome to episode 500 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's still going after all these years. In this episode, we take a not-so-gingerly walk down memory lane, and after 500 episodes, I'm still Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
I'm Patrick Hill.
So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired, because it's time to get crazy on another episode of the Master of One podcast.
I'm way better at these than Luke.
Oh,
You're way better at them than me.
Okay, we like to kick things off by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our week. And what could be more noteworthy about all of our weeks this week, other than the fact that we are celebrating our 500th episode of the podcast. So we have a lot of stuff planned for this episode.
Stop. Hold on. You didn't use your soundboard for that?
Do you know, this soundboard is packed to...
Oh my gosh.
It's packed to the hill. Gil?
Yeah, to get rid of all the frivolous, air horns and clapping. This is reserved for the good stuff today.
I packed this thing full of real good stuff, but we're gonna get to all that as time goes on. But because this is episode 500, we have a lot of stuff planned and a lot of stuff to do. I want to take us on a quick walk through the look and feel of the podcast. Over the years, we have changed the look slightly, and we've iterated on it multiple times. And this week, as I was preparing for the episode, I saw just exactly how many times we have changed the logo over the years. So I'm going to show everybody just real quick. This is what the podcast iteration has looked like. Now, if you're just listening to the show, a quick audio version of this is back in 2014, July of 2014, when the show actually started. Our look was very much 8-bit. I mean, we wanted to go full in on this idea of old video game style. The music, as you'll hear later on in this episode, very much feels like an old video game, something that you would play on, Sega or something like that. It's really, really, it calls back and harkens back to that. And then you can just see as you're watching, as the years go on, we switch. We talk more about who we are. There's the toys, films, and design. There's we add a cleaner look as year 2 kind of rounds out, and then we talk to a guy named Aaron Draplin. And again, we'll shift. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on. And he develops this font called DDC Hardware. And so, as a show of support for him, we shift our logo to in 2017 to feature his font as our primary font, and that actually carries its way all the way through to our M of One badge when we shifted from just M of One podcast to just the M of One badge in 2018, and then in 2020. We shifted to a network. We started incorporating other shows. It wasn't just the same show each and every week. We had other people coming in, and so we decided we needed to go more network, and then that shifted a little bit, and it takes us all the way up back to Master of One Network, which is where we are today. So it's been a journey. I had to actually recreate some of those graphics because some of the graphics were so old I didn't have vectors of them anymore.
Oh, geez.
But it was a fun time.
They've held up well, honestly.
Yeah, they all look good.
Thanks. I was reminded that I used to be a designer. When I was
You're
looking
really
at
phoning
these
it in
things.
2022, but
Yeah, I really just decided I'm not
2014 showed promise.
But with that said, other things that are nostalgic and things that as I was looking back on, I was missing and very fond of was none other than our original co-host. And so I thought, you know what? For this episode, we need to bring back the OG Luke Gall to the show. Welcome, Luke, to the show.
In the middle of taking a bite. Hello.
What up?
I'm
I
so
saw
happy I'm
him-
no longer the only one eating.
I
this
did it on
show.
purpose.
I was gonna say
I
I,
did it on
saw him,
purpose.
and right before I let him in, he had taken a bite and was wiping his mouth. I'm like, oh great, he's gonna be perfect. And then as soon as I let him in, he took another big bite.
What's up, everybody?
Man, welcome,
Hey.
Luke. Normally, I would have a fanfare ready for you with air horns and applause and everything,
Yeah.
but not this episode because we don't have time for shenanigans. We gotta
Whatever.
really get things moving. So,
I see how it is.
with that said, who wants to go first with their top list? Because this whole episode is going to be dedicated to the top list and going not topless.
Yeah, top 5 list. Let's say
The
it that way.
top 5 lists.
How about I kick it off?
How about you kick it
Yeah.
off? So wait. In order to kick it off, Patrick, I do, since you're the first person talking, I do want to intro you with a couple of friends. We have some friends who wanted to wish us well, and so
Aw.
who better to wish us well than our very first guest from the Master of One podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Micah Hasty.
What's up, Master One? Happy
Oh my gosh.
500th. This is crazy. I remember us sitting down together in a coffee shop in New Philadelphia, Dover, Ohio, and absolutely this dreaming about what this podcast was going to be. And I remember sitting down with Andrew, Patrick, and Luke and just hearing you guys talk. And even just sitting at the table while you guys were walking through it, I was having fun. And I've been having fun 500 episodes later. So thank you so much for all you do. Thanks for showing me all this type of entertainment and all these kind of cool things that some of it is nostalgic, some of it is brand new, all the way through. Thank you. 500. You guys made it. You did it. You did it.
I was waiting for one more. You did it. Man, I feel terrible
so
about what I
good.
said about him before we started recording.
Oh, jeez.
Just kidding.
It was pretty great. Patrick's like, you know who else was on the 5th episode with us? Micah Hasty. We didn't ask him to be a
Yeah.
part of this, and I was like, yeah, you didn't.
That was
Totally
so
messed
cool.
Yeah, there you go,
Thank you for
Patrick.
that, Micah. So I'm gonna jump into our or my top 5 off-air moments. These are things that either happen over the course of facilitating episodes or potentially recording episodes and when you couldn't see, etc. So gonna go through these, and there are a couple that I think it's hard to narrow down exactly the moment, and I think it's great for you to speak into. So the first one, number 5, and this is really in no particular order, but these are the 5 that stand out. The first one was actually when we were talking to Bear and Fig about sponsoring the show. We were talking to Joey Cafone and is his name Adam Cornfield?
I don't know his last name, but his first name I'm pretty
It's
sure was
corn related, for sure. But we'll stick with Joey Cafone right now. And we were going through the whole pitch of what we were asking for them and like what we would provide back and all that type of stuff. And while doing it, there was this moment where I believe it was Joey that was like, I just want you to know that on paper, you're not worth this. But
I remember that.
but we really like you, so we're gonna do it. And that is
That's
something
actually a really
that,
good compliment.
yeah, and that has really stuck with me in a big way in terms of asking for things even if on paper you don't deserve those things, like still making me ask for them, and just remembering the importance of like being a good person to other
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah,
That moment really
stewarding that generosity well, and that happened
Yeah.
early in the show. I mean, relatively early, given where we are now. That happened relatively early, and stewarding that was a nice lesson for us.
yeah, definitely like a year 4 moment or something like that.
Mhm.
But okay, so that's the first one. Second one, meeting the first time we met Lauren, which this would
Aw.
be an off-air thing, but we were in line at
Yeah.
MondoCon,
Mhm.
and the way I remember it is that Lauren knew we were there somewhere. Lauren had not met us. This is not a stream
Yeah.
at this point, so like you're not necessarily seeing our faces. And you overheard us talking and recognized someone's voice.
Yeah.
And then you just asked if we were a part of M of One and started talking with us.
Can I jump in on this? Because this kind
Please.
of overlaps with one of my moments. So I
And
thought,
it
like,
may or may not
'cause-
overlap with one of mine.
Okay.
Yeah,
go
I think that would be fun if we can just like jump around anyway. We don't need to like be strict. This is a fun episode. So like, yeah, meeting you guys at the first MondoCon was like so much fun. And yeah, like I was listening back then, and you said like we're gonna be here, but then I realized like as we're driving from Houston to Austin, where MondoCon is, I have no clue. Not even a slight clue what you guys look like. Like I don't think you had the like cartoons
It was
incorporated
before
into the
internet,
logo
so
at the time.
There's no way to show photos. I remember.
Well, like I just didn't like know like a good way to like have found that out beforehand, or didn't think of it honestly until we were like on the way there. And I was like, oh well, hopefully I figure it out. And then yeah, like that line is like winding around like, you know, like a Disney ride or whatever, where you can like you're just like in this crowd. And yeah, I overheard your voices, and like at first I was like, maybe I'm imagining it. And then I heard like the other voices, like that's definitely it.
Yeah, I fully felt like a celebrity in that moment, 100%. But I think that was a very big, in terms of like putting a face to community and like connecting the dots of the numbers that we see in some piece of software, like equate to actual. I kicked Luke off. It's fine. Equate to actual real people. That was a very meaningful moment when all that happened. So that's my
so
number
fun.
4.
So hang on.
I actually have a picture of all of us at that event ready.
Is that the one where I sweated through a shirt? That's a different one.
Can I share?
It is.
Can I
that
share my
one.
screen real quick?
Yeah, share your screen real quick. And while you're getting your screen prepared to share, since we're doing this, we all have the same one. So I'm just going to share this audio clip while you're getting that ready, because I think that is absolutely perfect for what we're talking about.
Right. They had the game test of the Thing game. Which
that was so much
awesome
fun
to see people like back in the little corner playing some games. You heard cheering and hollering, and people having a good time.
That was me. I was the one yelling.
The MondoCon store line was like forever long the first day.
So that's the thing that leveled
And
up this year.
Today you could just walk in whenever you wanted, basically. You could just go in and get anything.
Well, it's because most of the stuff was
Everything was sold out.
There's nothing left, but
If all you wanted was a 3X T-shirt, you could find it.
If you wanted a 2001 poster, you messed up.
You messed up.
But man, it was really awesome. It was cool to talk to people, and it was weird that most of the people recognize the name of the podcast. Right. That feels weird still. It was really cool, humbling kind of thing.
well, it's good seeing our friends. I think that's the
we have a
biggest
lot of
thing.
friends,
We just,
yeah.
Since, because we've been doing this a bit over 3 years now, and so we've made a lot of friends, and last year was our first MondoCon, so it's kind of our first 3 years dive into that group of people, right? There's like a certain group of people that follow each one of these events, and so to get introduced to a lot of people last year, to be able to build a relationship over the past 12 months, and then to go back to using it this year was just it's just a cool experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is all that from, Andrew?
Yeah.
So that was all.
Okay, so what is all that?
I'm hearing something bad right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing a really weird sound.
Who's doing it?
Yeah.
It's gotta be Luke.
Doing. Okay, Luke's gone again. Luke, get yourself together, and you can come back. But until then, you're out.
So that, Patrick, was one of my top audio clips, and it was exactly because that was when we got to meet Lauren and this whole other group of people. We found to meet this other group.
Gone again.
It's just bad.
Sorry,
It's just
man.
bad, Luke.
Yeah, it sounds like you are in a spaceship.
It's
like
just-
under construction.
Yeah. It was from a time where we got to meet this whole group of people, and not just Lauren, but a whole bunch of other people too. Colin Schlicht was there, I believe, and yes, you sweat through your shirt, and that's why we're in line so you could buy a shirt. And
Oh, that's funny.
and we got to play the Thing game. It was super cool and super fun.
Because like the air was out in the facility or something, and so everybody and I especially.
Oh
sweated
yeah, I
bugs, so-
remember that. The air conditioning broke, and then like Mike Mitchell was giving away those skull fans, and like
Yes.
that became like that was like the only relief.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
if
That
you wanted to
thing
stand
game
in his
was so
line
much
for 4
fun.
hours, but sure. Okay, so that's my number 4. So my number 3 is going to be. Let's go with. Is it Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
It's in.
Oh yeah.
That we went to in Anaheim. So this was a recommendation. I think that. Don't make me do this.
I don't know what you're gonna say. Otherwise, I'd help you.
I'm blanking on his name right now. Whose recommendation it was?
I don't remember whose recommendation it was. There were so many people at that. That was at DesignerCon, the first year we went to DesignerCon.
Yes.
Like there's no telling. We had so many people who were on that trip with us.
Okay, yes. So anyway, this was at DesignerCon. We went there, and Tim Anderson went with us. And this might be, I was telling Mackenzie, this might be the single moment that I've laughed the hardest in my adult life was this night at dinner. I think a lot of the Bob Hoskins conversations happened this night.
Yeah.
I know all the undergirding conversation happened this night. But again, it's like our community together. This ended up being such a highlight of what this community could be and the purpose behind the show. And I think that these moments really served as a turning point for I don't care about the show in terms of doing a podcast. I care about the show in terms of building community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. That's good. That was a pivotal moment, and it was such a fun night. I know Tim Anderson was there, and his sister was there, and that was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And his brother-in-law was there, and gosh,
And
Luke Flowers was there, and
yes,
it was a ton of people.
And on the note of Tim Anderson, the moment that I forgot we had him on the show and was pitching and was getting ready to pitch him coming on the show, and Andrew had to stop me in real time to prevent me from embarrassing myself.
That was in Orlando. We were at the Yacht and Boat Club, and we had a meetup. I think that was our second largest meetup, and there were
like 22 people, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost 25 people there, and I think Adam Grayson and his wife and son all came, but because the group was so big, they had to sit in a booth by themselves. It was crazy, and yeah, I heard you. I heard. Like, I could tell by the timbre in your voice that you were getting ready to invite this guy that you just met onto the show, because you've recognized now he's really talented and he's really personable, and you're getting ready to offer him this invite. And I heard it in your voice and stepped in and was like, yeah, I loved having you on the show, right, Patrick? And you being like, yeah.
Oh, you either texted me or like whispered to me or something and was like, leave it alone. We've talked to him.
Do not invite him on the show. That's a bad
Tim
news.
Anderson knows this now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, that moment is a real standout to me. The fact that happened. M squared. I couldn't think of M squared because M squared is like M squared Co. And so I always think of
Mark.
not cool. So I always think of Mark Cool Co. But Mark is who I believe recommended Roscoe's. So it was a good night. Okay. The first time. Is it the first time? The time we met Bricky at Creative South. So the way this went down is when you're at Creative South, at least in the old building, they won't have this in the new facility, but in the old facility, everything happens on the first floor. But on I think it's the second floor of the building, there's a green room. In like some back corner, there's a green room, and you can go hang out. Well, you can't. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. We would go hang out there because like Creative South gets really busy, especially during like changeover and things like that, and it's pretty loud. And we would have moments of downtime where we wanted to just like go take a break, play a board.
They had
game.
all the Little Debbies.
Yeah. Oh, they did have Little Debbies. But it was time to just go, like, chill out for a
I
bit.
remember you specifically were like, we just need to stay in here because they keep bringing out Little Debbies.
That sounds like something I would say.
That's
You're
true.
just there for the free food.
So we're up there.
We were like, we should go talk to people. And you were like, nah.
Nah, more snacks.
Little Debbies.
Little Debbies.
I'm pretty sure they have a secret stash of honey buns back there.
So, which was my nickname for Luke at the time. So
I remember
anyway,
that well.
I was back there.
we were playing the monster game. What's it called? Campy Creatures,
Campy
right?
Creatures,
We're
yep.
playing Campy
Oh
Creatures.
yeah.
And I remember that Bricky walked in and the way I remember it was something along the I think he retold this later. I don't know if he told us in the moment. I think he might have retold this later when we were in Portland. But he just had this moment where he came in. We were by ourselves. He saw us just playing board games, and he just had this. Wow, these people really are nerds. And it was a real respect building moment of they're not just trying to. Like, they're doing a podcast because they actually love the things they're talking about.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
was like,
anything else but that.
These guys aren't doing a bit. Like, it's not a show. It's just these guys.
Yeah, they are really as lame in person as what they talk about on their show.
I'm pretty sure he told us that on air when we were recording an episode with him in Portland, and it was the last episode that we recorded before a pretty big shift in.
No, it wasn't Portland. It was Baton Rouge, wasn't it?
Nope, it was Portland because Patrick was there too.
Oh, that's right. Oh gosh.
I was like, Andrew did all the research today. It is fresh.
I've listened to so many hours over the weekend of this show.
Bro, I get it.
So my last moment of all this, and this is a moment that you're probably familiar with. It didn't technically happen on air, but it did happen while we were recording. And this would be watching Andrew pass out live. I think that there's something...
This is only funny in hindsight, knowing that Andrew's okay.
No, it was funny in their sight. It was funny in front sight as well.
Do you have the clip pulled up?
I don't have it pulled up. I will pull it up and we will play it.
I can get it while you're talking.
It's actually on our YouTube. If you go to YouTube/Everyone Podcast, you'll find it there. But watching Andrew pass out in real time was amazing. But not just that. There was something very special about the kind of, I think front matter is the phrase. But like the front matter to actually recording, like that hangout time that would happen before we would press record was something that was really, really special. And that's something that... that like behind the community engagement, the one-on-one conversations and interaction, I think that's probably my favorite bit, is that really real bit of I don't care about anything else and I'm just talking to a couple of friends, and even before we press record, so it's not for anybody, it's just for you in that moment.
Well, I think what's so special about that, especially that time, right? That timestamp is that was right after the three of us became all remote. For a time, Patrick, you we were all together initially, and then you moved to Chattanooga, and we continued the show with Luke and I, and then you, and then that was after I'd moved to Texas, and so it was this this time where that was really the only only few moments that we had to connect with each other off air, and so that was like our friend time, and it was special. And it just so happened that this go around, it happened right before we right before we started recording the episode, so the cameras were rolling, and it will forever go down as the scariest, funniest moment of the podcast.
Or just maybe the funniest moment.
For the people who aren't involved,
Here, I'll drop you the link right now, because I know that you can play it.
Okay.
You'll have to fast forward a little bit, because there's a lot of front matter on this clip, so fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
But it's in Host Lounge. For those that want to see it, here, we'll play it for you right now.
Okay.
Okay, well, I need a little bit more time than just that.
No, we're playing it for you right now. Here it happens.
So let me get that pulled up.
Doc, by the way, I will say I did pitch for tonight's episode, instead of doing my top 5 off-air moments, doing my top 5 moments I quit the show. That was my other pitch for a top 5.
But he only quit the show 4 times, so we weren't able to effectively.
Tonight would have been the actual 5th at the end. What a twist!
Patrick, you said you sent this to me. Is it in?
It's in Host Lounge.
Host Lounge. Okay, that's where it is. Okay. All right, I'm getting this loaded up.
Can I piggyback on this for another one of mine? Was when Patrick ate the ghost pepper on film.
Let me be clear. The Carolina Reaper.
Oh, that's what it was.
Don't sell
I'm
me
sorry.
short with
I'm
ghost
sorry.
pepper.
I did misremember what it was. Yeah, the Carolina Reaper pepper. And I remember like only hearing the audio first and thinking like I was literally crying laughing. It's just that. So I had to like go watch the video afterwards. And that was one of the funniest things ever.
The one thing that stands out to me, other than I brought like 20 methods of dealing with it and just tried them all back to back, is at some
like it
point
escalated so quickly.
It was bad. It was bad.
at some point
Like
Doc and his wife were watching, and I remember Doc just saying, I thought this was going to be funny.
Yeah, and him saying afterwards, I don't know if he said this after or while you were just, pre-engaged or otherwise engaged. He said, I just remember sitting there watching him thinking, this is what it's like to watch your friend die. So let's make sure that you can hear this audio real quick. Let's get this switched over.
And please, in this, watch Andrew's face. What he's going to do is he's going to slowly fade out while laughing, and then this is my favorite part. He's going to come back to still be laughing.
All right, here we go. Please let me know if you can hear it.
I can hear it, yeah.
Okay.
Oh. You've never listened to it?
Gone.
Hey, I just blacked out. 100%. Did you see?
You were thinking.
It's on video.
I'm crying.
I blacked out. Holy shit.
That's one of the best things ever.
Oh my god.
I hated that.
I forgot I moved that like that.
I can laugh at it now, but initially it was funny because I was in shock, and then I thought about it afterwards. I was like, "This is scary." When I watched it back,
It's also like it's so weird when you pass out. You wake up and you literally like don't even know where you are
because you're waking up to this food. I'm like, that's what you're hearing. Oh gosh.
He did, by the way. You did go to the hospital the next week.
That's not untrue. Unrelated.
Okay.
Unrelated,
So that's
but we did
mine.
find
That's
out.
my favorite off-air moments. Who's taking it next? Oh, Andrew, you're going to play a little transition.
I will, but who's going to go next? That'll help me know.
I'll
what to
go
play.
next because I've said a couple of mine.
Okay, so why don't you go? You go next. So let's throw this. Let's see. Let's hear from from this guy.
Hey, this is Andrew Kolb. Just wanted to say congratulations on 500 episodes. I think I have been on a few of them and then consider myself lucky to be a part of it. So, well done. Bye.
I swear, if you TPKS this next week, I'm going to be so upset.
No, we're gonna be great. Oh, I love Andrew Kolb. He's the best.
He's one of the best humans in general.
Can I say something that I didn't know how to incorporate this, but since you transitioned with Andrew Kolb, this is perfect. I always wanted to see what the calculated comics with Kolb table looked like. We should get him if he has that. I would still really be interested in seeing that because I used to love that segment. We have pretty similar tastes, so everything that he would bring up, I either had already read or would read and really liked. So I loved that part. I would love to see what's on the rest of the list.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
He's pretty close
and I love
to the
playing
chest
D&D
on that
with
list,
him.
though.
Yeah. Well, now
Trade
maybe he'll
secrets.
share. Maybe just I can see it secretly. We don't need to post it or anything. I
I'm
just
pretty
need to
sure
know.
he never showed us. I think we asked for it, and he was like, "Nah."
It is true
It's
that I've
better.
never seen
That's
it.
awesome.
That is true.
That's actually awesome.
All right, what's your top 5, Lauren?
All right, so I did mention Patrick eating the ghost pepper. That was a really funny moment. Meeting you guys at MondoCon after listening for so long, and then I would like to tag on to that. The next year, we actually hung out there a long time, and
Yeah.
the second year at MondoCon, you guys would introduce me to the other artists you knew there, and we got to hang out way more and actually get to know each other. So that was just both MondoCons with you guys were really cool, and it's funny to think they were probably the last ones ever too.
I
Yeah.
remember hanging
So
out with
weird.
JC Richard a lot that year,
Mm-hmm.
specifically, and let me just say, he's a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
He's a trip. That's what my grandma would say. He's a trip.
And
Yeah.
I did it. So
Oh
we've
yeah, and
done
like
the
Bricky was there, and I remember talking to him, and it was really interesting because like I had tried listening to his podcast because of like your guys' recommendation, and I didn't really care for him on his podcast. Meeting him in person like completely flipped my opinion.
It's like Bricky, she doesn't mean that. She loves you. And I didn't.
No, I'm
means it.
saying like in the end, like I just like it just is different meeting him in person. I think he's really cool. Just I had to have a change.
I didn't want to put Bricky on my list twice, not because I don't love Bricky, but I was trying to like have a little bit of variety. The Bricky Land Disney tour, in fairness, is
that's a great
also one of the
moment, yeah.
best moments that is frankly because of the podcast. And on that note, if you're on the other coast, JC Richard is the go-to. That I am still waiting to get my full tour from JC Richard, and that is on my list to happen. So anyway, I'm
The
sorry,
Disney
Lauren.
World guy.
Yes.
No,
yes,
that's
yes.
okay. All right. So I was trying to think like what the first episode that I listened to was, because like I had top listener moments, and so I was trying to remember what it was. And I definitely got tuned in through like y'all's interviews that you used to do with everybody. And I think Becky Cloonan was the first one that I found.
yeah.
Because I'm just obsessed with her, and she doesn't do that many interviews that I found. So like that was definitely like a really great one that like stand out to me. And then like I was trying to think of other interviews that I really remember, and like you kind of brought this up before, but like that Aaron Draplin one where he like played the guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
So
That was-
it's interesting that you say that because that was on my top list too. So I've got some audio.
Yay!
Let's go ahead and play that
Wonderful.
audio.
Perfect.
How does
perfect.
that sound, everybody?
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your, to answer your whatever. You see, I don't even know if it's in tune. I've been on the road. I don't think it's in tune, but
Oh, he's being modest.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Oh, I couldn't possibly.
Yeah. So
You get
casual.
handed it by a roadie. I think there's a roadie in
I
there.
don't know. Do people even know that? I don't care if they know if I play guitar. I don't.
Dude, this is killer. Draplin just serenaded me with an acoustic guitar, so that's.
I'd like to think he serenaded us with his acoustic guitar. Don't be so flattered, Patrick. There you go. And I think
That
what
was
was
great.
special about that moment, Lauren, I don't know if you know this. This I'll just take. what
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah,
say
go
about
ahead.
It, is, when we first met Draplin, he was the big deal. He was the headliner speaker at Creative South, and in the design world, people know who he is, and so he was a really big get for us initially. And the part of the get, right, was that we said, "Can we interview you?" And he said, "I will only let you interview me if you make it different than all these other interviews." Because he's been interviewed by Mark Maron, like he's been interviewed by the big people,
Yeah.
and he said it just can't be like any of the other stuff that we've ever done. And I remember Patrick saying, "Deal," and that was like at that point, like it was game on. And so we made it. When we first sat down with him, we set aside like 40 minutes to talk with him. And we were worried about, getting all of those in. And by the time we were done, that episode was like 2 hours long because he didn't want to get off with us because he pulled out his
It was
guitar.
just a good conversation,
Yeah, he
genuinely.
just
like
kept
it's a
going.
really
and
great
he was
interview.
just talking, and he didn't
it was
care.
it was a really special moment. Like he said, like I don't even think people know I play the guitar. Like we were able to pull that out of him, and that was a really special moment for me. too.
He for me personally is terrifying to interview. Talking to him in person, love talking to him. But interviewing him, he's one of the few people that I feel like not just outmatches my personality, but like outmatches it by double or triple in terms of like bigness and engagement and all that type of stuff. So normally I feel very in control of a situation when I talk to someone, and you just can't be that when you talk to Draplin. So it was very difficult for me because so much of the interview was just allowing Draplin to just do whatever he does. And so it
But
wasn't
he's really
always
good at it, so like it's not like that's dead air,
It wasn't always a comfortable ride, but it for sure is one of my just getting to sit there and watch it unfold in first person was definitely a top moment for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great one. And then I'll just tag on like tiny little shout out when you guys interviewed Matt Taylor. I didn't know he was freaking British. That was funny.
You
Big
didn't know he was
surprise.
British? I love
No, I
that.
had no clue. It's funny with artists because like you see their artwork and like that's not something you naturally think of like, oh, where are they from? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that reminds me, for Matt Taylor, we got the opportunity to give him, or you got the opportunity to give him one of your pins.
Yes, that was really cool.
One
My
of your
Spider-Man
spider
pin.
people.
Yeah, and I have all of his Spider-Man pins like right over there. So that was definitely really cool that he said mine was cool. So yeah, another one that kind of pertains to interviews was I cannot remember which like conference this was, but when you guys did the hot seats where you guys were playing video games with people while they were doing the interviews.
South. That was the year that the Creative South was the video game theme.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, it was a creative conference. It wasn't MondoCon, but like, yeah, you guys had like a whole setup where people would. I think you were playing Mario Kart, if I remember, like while you were doing it, and like that was just so funny because like some people were actually like surprisingly good at balancing talking and playing, and other people like couldn't handle it, and like I think I would do terrible. Like I don't think that's easy to do. So that was just like a really funny game that you guys had like with everybody, and it seemed like everyone was having a really good time, and it like, you know, just like what an icebreaker, you know?
Yeah.
It made for really fun interviews in person and really terrible interviews on playback.
I remember listening to all of them and thinking they were funny though. Like,
yeah, but that was the edited version. So
oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's totally fair.
Talking about dead air before, there was definitely some dead air with those interviews.
And
for
plus,
sure.
I'm so bad at Mario Kart. Like I ended up just being mad the whole time.
That is so funny. I love playing Mario Kart. Okay, and then the last one that I thought of. So you brought up Bear and Fig before, and I thought that I didn't like get a chance to like jump in, but for the longest time, I did not realize at all how that was spelled. You know, so I thought it was Bear and Fig, like an animal, the bear, and a piece of fruit.
Yep.
You know, like Bear and Fig. Then I thought it was Baron Fig, you know, like the Red Baron, but then, you know, like not that either. If you look up the website, it is all one word, BARONFIG.
Well,
which, you guys didn't ever pronounce it wrong. It's just that it naturally sounds like these other words that you know. So I never assumed that was what it was. And for so long, like literally years of listening before I realized how that was spelled, and that just like still to this day cracks me up every time I hear one of you guys say it.
Well, in fairness, this is legitimized in a big way. And I did just verify this is still true, but we did a Baron Fig contest.
We did.
And
that was part of the sponsorship. That was part of the sponsorship.
It was part of the sponsorship. And Doc, the sponsorship we didn't deserve, and Doc drew a bear and fig and did it as a logo.
Yeah.
I think this is how I finally figured out what the deal was. This was it.
It is.
And when we talked about this through the podcast or through the show, Bear and Fig, the notebook maker, went and registered bearandfig.com. And so if you go to bearandfig.com, it redirects to Bear and Fig to this day.
I'd like to
because
think
of that sponsorship.
That was us earning our sponsorship dollars.
Yeah, I like now I remember it even more because I think this is so funny that I was mispronouncing it for years. Like,
and even more than that, Doc is part of our Lytro community, right? And part of his portfolio has the Bear and Fig logo he made. Yeah. So like when I was going through some of his artwork and stuff, I was like, holy crap, that's like he has that on here. That's super funny.
Yeah, a lot of people did logos.
Awesome.
That was just the standout to me in tying the story together. But that was a really, really fun conversation, and I loved it. We got to leave our mark that way. That URL exists because of a bit of what we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Well, that is my top 5 moments. Luke, why don't you take over?
All right, well,
Okie dokie.
Luke, if you're going to take over, then we've been talking about this quite a bit, so let's hear from another
play
friend.
Smelly Cat from Friends.
Hey, y'all, it's Mike Jones from Creative South. Just wanted to wish you guys over at Masters of One a happy 500th. Congrats on the amazing milestone. See you guys real soon.
There you go.
Oh, I love that.
That's so nice.
The big neck hugger himself, introing you into your category, Luke. What you got?
Let me say this real quick. A lot of people like to think that Canadians are the friendliest, and the truth is, I think Mike Jones is the friendliest, and then
Mike Jones
Canadians
is an
are right
honorary
below
Canadian.
Yeah,
Mike Jones is his own nationality. He's Mike Jonesian.
There are very few people. In fact, like, he is someone that every time I see him in person, I walk away feeling great about myself because he's just so kind to me.
Yeah, he's so nice.
All right, Luke.
All right, so my top 5 is the top 5 intros that we have had over the years. And boy, this was a interesting stroll through the audio field of crap.
And what do you mean by intros before we start playing these things? You're going to set up each one, right?
Yeah, I'll set them up. So the intros, I mean I'm Andrew, Patrick, Luke, or Andrew, Lauren, Patrick, and non sequitur into stinger.
Yeah.
The top 5 of those.
Okay.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah. So number 5 actually was from last year. It was episode 446, the Happy New Year episode. Andrew, can you play that?
Welcome to episode 446 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the only podcast that still doesn't know all the lyrics and the meaning to Old Lang Syne. In this episode, we talk about hacks, Draplin's Timex watch, and Holiday Meal Roundup Volume 2. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
I'm Patrick Hill.
So forget all those old acquaintances, because it's time to make room for another episode.
That was my grandmother's name.
Acquaintance? That's a good one.
Wait. Did you end it early, or is that all I sent you?
That's what you sent me.
Aw, it cut off
what
the end.
What did you
do? The end, you said, he goes, oh, acquaintance? And you said, no, Old Lang Syne. That's even better.
That made me lightheaded.
Hey, let's see if we can make it 2 for 2.
No. This will not happen. I will close this stream down before I'll pass out on it.
I bet. Okay, so that was that one. Number 4 is an old one. This one was from there's older ones, but this one is 2019, November 20th of 2019. This is Pop Culture Roundtable. So this was when it was after it was rebranded, but this does not have an episode number. It was called It's a Bounty of Cuteness, Mr. Shelby.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's huddled up together in the studio as we speak. In this episode, we talk about Ford v Ferrari, The Mandalorian, Aaron Hunting, and Mondo's It's an Art Show, Charlie Brown. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
I'm Patrick Hill.
So reach out and touch someone, because it's time to start another episode.
Stop it.
Stop it.
It's weird because I remember those things in terms
Right?
of like when I saw Ford v Ferrari and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but it sounds so long ago.
Right. Well, I mean, it was
Patrick Hill.
3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. Lauren.
You just wait, Patrick. If you think that sounds, you just wait.
Okay, let's keep going then.
All right, so then number 3. Now this is the oldest one on the list. This is back from episode 76, which I think only I have access to, or you guys maybe have it on AWS.
On our, on our Forbidden Archive.
Right,
Yeah.
because the first 50 weren't anywhere. And then there was another big chunk that we had to take down due to potential copyright strikes.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a large portion of our archive that you just can't access right now.
Right.
And this would probably fall into that.
Yeah, so this was from. So here's the thing I noticed. There's a theme here. Let's see if anybody picks up on it by the end. This one came out in November of 2015.
Welcome to another episode of the Master of One podcast, the podcast that knows exactly how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Most of the time.
This episode, we talk about DesignerCon, sandwiches, Star Wars, and we talk with Art Awakens artist Bennett Slater. I'm Andrew, your Master of Art and Design.
I'm Patrick, your master of television and film.
And I'm Luke, your master of toys and games.
So listen or don't listen, there is no try.
Yeah, we don't care. Oh, wait, yeah, listen.
What a clumsy intro, by the way.
Yeah, we don't care. Wait, what? Gosh, that's a
So
good one.
yeah, so it was funny how these evolved like over the years. It made me think about it as I would try, because I started that from the very beginning, adding
Yeah.
some little tag on the end, and it just became a thing. And then it was fun, and then it became annoying because I was like, I've created a job for myself.
Yeah, it did.
And so I started to try and be just, what can I do to throw Andrew off his game leading into the next segment?
Oh, I never knew that, but that's
Yeah.
very telling because you've done it many times.
Yeah. So now we're back to, this is very current. So I will say this, number 2, you guys are doing great. And listening to the 3 of you,
Oh no.
it's nice to see how you guys have grown together, because we've talked about how we first met, and being around, and I have been the person that has been able to step away from that and see it, blossom into the thing it is now.
Yeah.
And so this one is just, it makes me feel good because you guys do a good job on the show, and it's apparent in this intro. So go ahead with one from this year, January of this year.
Welcome to episode 492 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's just happy to be here.
we need to talk
there,
about this
and
one.
everywhere! In this episode, we talk about Space Cadets, Chen Bartel, and movie trivia. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
So don't look behind you, just speed up, because it's time to catch another episode.
On Sunday. Okay, listen. So Andrew was in Florida when we recorded this, so he didn't have his mic, and he went to do the first take of it, and was just like, to me, it came across like, welcome to another episode of. It just sounded.
Oh yeah,
so
I forgot.
dead.
Yeah, you were like, oh, you just have no energy.
And I think twice I stopped you and was like, bro, like, come on. Like,
So what you're hearing is my protest. Is what happened. I'm like,
Well, it
fine,
worked. I
you don't
loved
think
it.
I have enough energy? Take this.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was angry Andrew.
Yeah.
So my number 1 clip is the number 1 intro for me, because I hear this and I remember the moment that this was recorded and the moment it happened, and I remember it makes me think of the whole weekend around it, and it was just such a fun time for us. It was this is back from November of 2017 when we were in California together.
You're listening to the Sandbox episode of the Master of One podcast, part 2 for this week. This week we talk to the guys from the Squared Co podcast, Jared Mariyama and Mark Morris. I'm Andrew, your Master of Art and Design.
I'm Patrick, your master of television and film.
And I'm Luke, your master of toys and games.
So get ready to enter a world of...
I don't want to go there.
What the heck happened? What happened?
Is that the take that made the episode?
Yes.
What the heck happened? I don't remember that.
So we were recording this at Noah Elias's studio on his second floor, that studio he had, and we were doing a video with Squared Co, but we were still recording a separate Around the Table and then Sandbox episode. And we didn't have much time because the day had kind of gotten away from us, and so we tried to just do everything in one take. And so we did that, and it was like, well, we have it. That's fun. Let's just keep it in. And oh man, it was so good because
that makes my heart happy. Like I don't know how else to say that, because first of all, I don't remember that. I remember the experience. I remember that he brought the cookies, right? He brought those like specialty cookies, and I remember the cookies. But hearing that laugh takes me back to all the thousands of times that has happened.
Yeah.
Over the
Like, it would be interesting to know if you've like expelled enough air to like fill the Hindenburg.
that's a good
Like,
question.
what could you have filled up?
I could easily have
I
filled
would-
up this apartment for sure.
I would say all the balloons from the Up House.
Yeah, they would have made it halfway to Paradise Falls or wherever it is that they're supposed to go on the amount of air I have expelled on this show. So, man, that's a good one. That was a good category, Luke. I appreciate that. All
Yeah,
right,
that was great.
That was strong.
Thanks.
Let's let another one of our friends intro me into my category then, shall we?
Okay.
Hey, it's Kevin Wilson here, aka 8 Meets Girl, from the other side of the pond. I just wanted to take a moment while I'm enjoying my fish and chips to send my warmest regards to all of the Vaughan family on their 500th birthday. Here in the UK, on your 100th birthday, you receive a birthday card from the King. So for a 500th birthday, I can only assume you'll receive a personal visit from Prince Andrew himself. Aren't you lucky? Anyway, keep a stiff upper lip and all that, and I hope we can enjoy your 1000th birthday together over some tea and cake. Tally-ho!
Oh my gosh.
When he sent that to me, I responded with, I don't think I've heard a more British thing ever to have happened.
Isn't it?
That came straight from Monty Python. That was exactly that. So thank you, Kevin. That was super sweet and very, very
That's
nice
awesome.
and very fun
Yes.
to listen to. So, all right. So we've already covered a couple of mine, and that's okay because I have a couple of more extended.
I'm happy that a lot of ours overlap a little bit. I think that's
I
cool.
think that's good. Yeah. So my category was to talk about the some of my favorite on-air moments that we did capture on air, and it really spans the gamut. And I think maybe the best way to start is where it all started. So I'm gonna play just a snippet of the very first episode of the Master of One podcast. Now, this show was the three of us sitting around a table, a physical table with one microphone, in the middle. And
amateurs.
Good lord.
Oh, it's so bad.
I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. Pat Cooper was listening while I was doing this stuff this weekend, and he was dying laughing. He's like, "What is that?" So, without further ado, here is the first episode of the Master of One podcast.
Ooh, I don't even remember this music. I feel like I'm going on a 8-bit adventure into a fantasy land right now, and I love it.
It's going on a little long, if I'm honest.
I tried to keep it all in so you could see where we came from.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Master of One podcast, part of the Film Dispenser family of podcasts.
Love it.
Every episode, we'll bring you the latest in games, design, and film from our world. I'm Andrew, your Master of Art and Design.
I'm Patrick, your Master of TV and Film.
And I'm Luke, your Master of Toys and Games.
This episode, we're introducing
serious.
you to us.
So quiet.
We love to talk about the things that we know. I mean, who doesn't, right? So every episode will include the 3 master categories we just said.
How much of this do I have to listen to?
We'll be forced to talk about things.
All of it.
We record it.
That means the masters will switch categories from week to week. The best part is, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's completely random. Awesome. Sure, you may learn something new, but mostly you should just expect to have a little bit of fun along the way.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun. I like your enthusiasm.
Yeah, don't we sound fun?
It's gonna be a great day. So buckle up and let's get things started.
So
You know what?
we recorded it. If I
I just
remember
love that.
correctly,
Don't we
guys, I'm
sound
pretty
fun?
sure, including the music, if you just take that and play that at 1.75 times, it sounds perfect.
Yeah, it sounds like how we do it now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is okay. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show. Everyone should go do a podcast. Not to release them. We don't need more competition. you should have to listen to yourself, like playback of yourself talking.
Oh, that
to
took-
hear the
yeah.
words you repeat and the phrases you say over, and to hear your cadence when you talk and the speed at which you deliver things. It is eye-opening, and not in like a fun way, in like a really sad way. But I remember the first couple months of doing this, like we would do it, and in the moment I would be like, this is a blast, this is incredible, and then I would listen to it back and be like, did someone have a gun on me? What was happening?
4 hours later.
The whole show was done under duress, right? Like wink 3 times if you need
If you're
help.
okay,
Like
yeah.
that's what it felt like.
So if you want to improve those skills, start recording yourself and start listening to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that is
wow.
100% true.
It
but
changes things.
How crazy is it to hear that and then hear where we're at now?
And that was,
bonkers.
Yeah,
I talked
incredible.
about Cisco on that episode.
Yeah, 'cause the first episode we had the thong song as the outro.
Yeah, we used to do separate
yeah, I remember
like,
the song
songs that
outros,
would
yeah.
pertain to the episode. Man, the
Yes.
hours of time I spent on that.
And
Gosh,
those
I
are all
could
the
never get
I
that
used to
episodes
back.
we
actually
had to
though.
remove.
Okay,
Yes.
Luke, to make you like happy today, like I used to really look forward to like, whoa, what songs are gonna be?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, like
Lauren
See,
was one of 3
somebody cared.
people.
Told you guys,
like,
somebody
I
cares.
did actually care. It was fun.
Okay, so I have 2 more clips. They're one of them's a little bit longer. So the first one, before the first one, I want to remind everybody, if you're watching this right now, let us know in the chat some of your favorite moments, because after my category, we're gonna enter into the final category, which is you guys as listeners. So
Yeah.
make sure you drop your favorite moments into the chat so that we can share those. All right, so this other one, we had an opportunity. We've been given so many opportunities because of the podcast. Like it's more than we should have been given, right? Like taking it back to what Patrick said at the very beginning.
I don't know if you're going to hop into this. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but a lot of that was just because we just asked for stuff.
Absolutely.
And like just let people say no.
Yeah, we put ourselves out there, and we were maybe too brazen and too bold, but you know what? Fortune favors the bold. So, one of those things that we got to do is we got an opportunity when we were over in California for Comic-Con. Luke and I went out for Comic-Con, and we had an opportunity to to go visit our now friend Diana Ritchie, who is the executive producer for American Dad, and she has this crazy resume of other animated TV shows. So we got the opportunity to go visit her in the Fox Animation building. And here's going to be just a little clip. There was a really great conversation. This comes all the way back from like 2016.
I didn't get to go to this.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This was shortly after Patrick moved to Chattanooga, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
But so here we go. So here's this is just a little snippet of that conversation that I thought was really meaningful, and it's something that I have taken with me from that into the work that I do beyond that. And so here, without further ado, is Diana Ritchie. You've mentioned your team. You've mentioned them a few times, and you've talked about the importance of doing good work and doing it well and all that stuff. But when we were there, let's give a few shout outs to your team right now, because your team is so fantastic. They were so welcoming. They were so cool.
Right?
We sat down with 2 or 3 different show directors, and they showed us like footage that they were working on, and asked, showed us some of the bits that they were working on for episodes that we wouldn't even see for 9 months.
Like background plate stuff we saw, like all kinds of fun stuff.
And they were open to any questions. They were open to they were very welcoming, and they're obviously very busy people. But the one thing that we that we heard over and over and over again is how you've nurtured and fostered an idea of family. So talk to me about the importance of that on American Dad, on a show that's about this family, on a show that's kind of talking about the American ideals, and obviously it has, it goes kooky directions, but it's essentially focused on the American ideals and this hub around this family. Your team acts as a family, and we heard that over and over and over again. Talk about the importance of that for you and how you kind of contribute to that.
Gendy Tartakovsky, who created Samurai Jack, he told me when I was producing it, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I was so stressed out on that show. It was complicated and really ambitious. And he said, Diana, if you're stressed out, it trickles down. So if the crew sees their producer stressed, it causes friction within the crew. And it's so true. Like, a producer really does set the tone for the show, I believe. And, here we are working 10, 12 hours a day together. Let's make it enjoyable and peaceful.
Yeah.
And, very trustworthy.
Sure.
And ambitious, of course. And, I'm not a micromanager. I expect everyone to do their jobs. And I think artists appreciate that because it gives them the freedom to do it however they need to do it. But they know that they have to get it done.
That's great.
It is like a family. And I appreciate that you noticed that. That makes me feel really great. So thank you.
I mean, you couldn't not. I mean, you would have to be walking through there with your ears plugged and your eyes closed. So that was a part of the show that was meaningful to me, and it helped me as I was leading people and in charge of teams. That stuck with me because I don't know if you remember, Luke, how amazing their team was.
Oh yeah, for
that
sure.
That experience was so great, and how welcoming everybody was, and so that was huge. And not funny, just a really, really key moment that I remember and has stuck with me. And so that's number 4. Here's the 5th one that I want to share. And this one is just shy of 3 minutes long, so buckle up. But on top of that, it needs a little bit of an intro because I think most people have not heard this, but it was technically on air. We used to do this thing called the Extra Bits. Okay.
Yes.
We used to do this thing called the Extra Bits, and that was where there was just like little scraps of things or little bloopers or things
I do remember this.
that didn't quite make it to the final cut. But we would do these Extra Bits episodes where we would just kind of jam a couple of them together. Well, this comes from one of those, and this comes from a long, long, long time ago. In fact, Patrick, I don't know why you're not in this clip for some reason.
Okay.
But we did this thing. Don't worry, you get a mention.
Okay, great.
We did this thing called the Speech Jammer. And the Speech Jammer, if you're
I
unfamiliar,
hope that this is Patrick.
This is Patrick.
The other Patrick.
No.
Okay.
No, we don't have that audio anymore. Trust me, I looked for it.
Okay.
This one was second to that.
All right, fair.
So the Speech Jammer is this thing. It's an app that you play that essentially you put on headphones that are sound canceling headphones, and it plays your voice back to you at a delay. A slight delay. And I know you're thinking, like, I don't know what that could possibly do. It does a lot. It scrambles your brain, and it's hard to talk. So what we did was we all told embarrassing stories or, like, gross stories. So here's a little bit of a trigger warning. If you are easily nauseated, or if you, like us, are also eating burgers, just be aware. You may get a little bit of a trigger. Patrick, you're going to be fine. It's going to be all right. We'll get through it together. This came at the end. This came at the end of one of those episodes. I'm telling a story. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the story by the time you're hearing it. So, again, this is I'm telling a story about my friend or my college roommate. And, you'll hear me, you'll hear Luke, you'll hear, Jared, Westfall, who was our producer for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And
hot minute.
Yeah, we had 6 listeners, but we had a producer. We don't have a producer now. And then
he didn't even make it to 7 listeners.
Yeah, and then you'll hear Micah Hasty, who you heard from earlier in this episode. So that's how early this episode is, and honestly, it's gonna speak for itself. So here's the Speech Jammer.
He said, "Oh, that's not Mountain Light. I've been pissing in that bottle since the beginning of the year." And we said, why are you doing this? He said, at the end of the year, there was a guy, I don't remember his name. Let's just call him Patrick. There was a guy, and Patrick, and he hated him. He hated him. And so his goal on the last day of school before we moved out of our apartments was to Are you gonna throw up? Micah might be throwing up. He has a trash can.
If you throw up by me, I'm gonna throw up.
Oh my gosh! If you throw
You gotta throw up that way.
Oh
you
my
gotta throw up over there.
Oh my!
You gotta throw up over there.
This might be the best scream Amber.
Did you make it through a whole episode of this?
Let me finish the story. So he wants to throw it on this guy's door, and at the end of the year, sure enough, everything that Micah's throwing up. I might throw him up. It's hot and sweaty in here. So at the end of the year,
that room would get so hot.
Sure enough, he goes.
Well, your body gets so hot.
What? The smell that you could smell everywhere across the entire campus. It was the worst smell you could ever imagine. And here's the best part. Here's the best part of the whole thing. As Micah is throwing up in the Nicole corner. The best part of the whole thing. It made the entire campus smell so bad. I'm almost done, Micah. Micah, I promise.
Oh my gosh.
The best part of the whole story, because he got caught because everyone knew where, why. They made him clean. They made him clean it up. And he was throwing up. It was the best.
I literally thought you faked this.
There you go.
100%. 100%. The first 2 times we did Speech Jammer, I thought you were faking it because it affects you so much. It's like how some people take melatonin, they fall asleep, and other people take it, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Speech Jammer on you is like...
Well, I think it goes to, you've talked before, the way that you've described how I tell
steamroller
is that I'm a tractor. I'm a tractor that just keeps going.
I was born in Georgia. I say tractor.
Yeah.
See a turtle on a fence post.
Exactly. A sea turtle on a fence post.
I was actually born in South Carolina. I don't know that I need to be factually accurate right now. But.
Your mom is messaging you. How dare you? So I think that's part of it, right? Like I'm already ahead of where I'm talking, and so when you add the fact that like I'm hearing myself so delayed, it affects all of us differently. Like Luke gets real slow. Like you
deliberate.
Fall asleep. I try to power through it. I try to just talk fast through it, and it doesn't always work. But holy cow, I remember that. And Micah, he was laughing so hard by the end of that, he just started throwing up. And oh my God, remember how hot that room got? Because it was the 4 of us in that tiny little room. There you go. There is my top 5 on-air moments. Major blast from the past.
Can I real quick? There are 2 photos I'd like to show, and then we can do our audio transition.
Yeah.
To
I have one thing to say too after you do your photos.
Okay.
This should have made my favorite moments. Oh, Andrew, you're welcome for the edit that you got in this.
That's so
very generous edit. You need to explain what's happening though, because it's hard for us to see. Can you zoom in, Patrick? Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
I was like,
So now you can see that Andrew Sell edit you got.
Very well done.
So we actually,
Adam Grayson.
Unfortunately, Adam Grayson had been let go from his job, and he agreed to like talk through this with us, talk about what happened, the experience. And so he was going through a pretty tough time at this moment. And so Adam is here.
Yeah.
He was going through a tough time. By the way, we just got this. This sign is awesome. Luke, do you have this?
Maybe.
Let me get this.
Synergym.
Let me get this
From
because that thing
Synergy
looks so
Signs
good.
made that three-dimensional
word.
sign like CNC'd. It's all textured.
Anyway.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
But this showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And it led to this.
I want you to notice, zoom in on me again on my face. I was actively recording an episode.
Yeah.
I was talking in a record. Oh my word.
But this is another thing that happened at Creative South, which is just again, it's a magical time. All right, let me show you one other picture. This is something that I will say I was disappointed because I never necessarily got to benefit from this.
There's so many things that you didn't get to benefit from.
But this is one of those other magical things that, like, when else would this have ever happened? And this is, we actually talked to Tom Bancroft.
Yeah.
Tom Bancroft, who has worked on several of the kind of, like, classic Disney films that we imagine. So, like, Little Mermaid and...
He was the director of Mulan.
Great. The director of Mulan. And
Ever heard of it?
while he was talking with us, he was doodling the entire time.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the images. This is one of the images podcasters said big mouths.
I assume he was talking about you.
I like to think so, but he specifically put some people. So he has, are you a new podcaster? Is this Diane Gibbs, by the way?
It looks
It
like
does say Diane at the top.
It does say Diane. I believe this is you, Andrew.
And
it says
right.
Andrew
Our
on your
shirt.
microphone.
I think you're probably right.
So I'm going to guess.
Context clues would communicate that, that's probably
So I want to point out, without doubt, Tom Bancroft has drawn you.
That's true.
pretty cool.
That's the part that I'm saying
I'm
that
sure
I don't
then the
get.
other one is supposed to be you, Patrick.
Hang on, is the
Well,
other
Luke
one
is also
obviously
there.
Luke?
He then drew. I'm sorry, Tony Bancroft. My bad. Unless Tom drew his brother, then this may have been Tony the whole time.
Yeah.
They were both on at some point.
It
World
was
will
Tony.
never know.
It was Tony.
Sorry, Tony. So no, so he drew himself. He drew Andrew, and then Diane, and then podcaster said big mouth. So unfortunately, I'm not sure that I made the cut.
No, hang on. That doesn't have a beard. That's got to, if it's you or Luke.
Yeah, that's what
gotta
I was
be
saying.
you.
Yeah, it's got to be you, man.
I'm gonna accept it.
Yeah.
But that was
have no
very.
choice.
So we've
I'm
been
Cogsworth.
We've been drawn. Yeah, you're Cogsworth.
Yes.
We've been drawn by Disney legends, is what you're trying
That's
to.
pretty
point.
dope.
I always wanted to make use of this, and we still haven't.
Oh,
It's never.
really
It's never
good.
too late. It's never too
We'll
late.
get there. We'll
Yeah.
get there. All right, so that's everything for me. So Andrew.
Okay,
Luke had
I
to say, and then
real
I have
quick.
one more thing.
So, you guys have been thinking about your favorite moments from the podcast. I know a couple people have put them out there already. I have a giveaway. I have a video clip that Patrick has to play. There's two answers that you put in chat. Guessing it features one master, and then if you get that right, you are entered into the drawing. And to break the tie, you have to guess what that master is talking about. And the closest person will win the giveaway. And the giveaway is this.
Shut up.
Oh,
Shut
no.
up.
Mackenzie,
Mackenzie, enter this.
You better
Mackenzie?
guess well.
I have no support. Someone help. No.
Oh man, that's no joke.
That is so cool.
For someone to win that, that means literally none of us have it. Oh gosh,
That is
wow,
super
that's
cool.
I don't know what the clip is. Do I get to enter?
No.
Dang it. Becca, I need you to
So
guess your little
it's a
heart
video.
out.
It's a video of one of the old hosts. So that's a
Okay.
hint. One of the old hosts, and you have to just take a guess of what they're talking about. It's like a 20-second clip at the most.
By
like
that you mean
8 seconds.
it's not Lauren. Like so, don't.
Yeah.
guess
It's not
is what I'm
Lauren,
saying.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well.
That's it. And we'll get to it later.
Okay, we'll get to it later. So that's your one opportunity. So here's the last thing I want to say before we go to community, is we got this opportunity to do this community art book, and so I'm going to show this. This is our our coloring book that we did. I'm super, super, super proud
Yeah.
of this.
Thank you,
Yes.
Jay Ratner, for printing this.
Yeah, for
I
getting
cannot
this
say
printed
that enough.
through at Disney.
mine
This
up
was
there.
printed at Disney,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, nice.
So, but this is a just chock full of art.
Chalk, that's fine.
Chock full of art from all of these people that we had on the show. These incredibly talented people. And there's a little bio about them and a photo of them, and then they all contributed an original piece of art to this under this idea of exploring. And so the whole book is like a choose your own adventure kind of thing, and it's the artist coloring book. I have a handful of these left. And just like Luke is saying that he's got a giveaway, if you want one of these things and you are willing to just pay for the shipping, whatever that would be, I will send one of these to you. I won't sell it to you. I'll just send one to you, but you need to let me know.
$3.50.
So drop me a note in Slack. So you have to be part of our Slack community. Drop me a DM in Slack, and I will try to accommodate as many people as I can. But this was such a fun, big project. And giving the rest of them away on episode 500 is would be an absolute pleasure. So
Hey, I want to propose something.
yeah, what's that?
For episode 1000, we talk dirt on all the people that we've talked.
I can't wait for that. Lauren's gonna sit out that episode, but it's gonna be a good one. It is gonna be a good one. Okay.
Listen, that coloring book might be of all the things that we've produced and released.
Yeah.
That's probably my number one. Like the thing that I'm most
so
proud
cool.
of that I got to contribute to on some level.
Yeah.
But I have a story attached to it that I refuse to tell yet. So eventually I will tell that story.
One day you will break your silence.
By 1,000, I'll be ready.
By 1,000, yeah, because the dirt is on us. So with that said, let's head over into our community and hear some of their favorite stories. But let's hear from one last special guest before we do that.
Hey there, this is Aaron James Draplin of the Draplin Design Company, and I'm just calling into the Master of One hotline to say congratulations on your 500th episode. Hey, every now and again I'll come check in on you guys, and 3 different voices, 3 different angles, 3 different perspectives on toys and games and design and movies and things and stuff. And it's just a really cool, positive, funny way, a forum that you guys sort of invented for yourselves to share a lot of cool stuff with lots of cool people. And I'm just really proud of seeing that all these years. So congrats to you guys. Here's to the next 500. Stay cool and stay curious and take care.
Oh, it's so cool.
And
What
there
a
you go.
gem. What
and
a
there you have
gem.
it.
What a nice guy.
Yeah.
Trevor's going to be so jealous.
I love Aaron.
A huge thank you to all of our friends
this
who
is so nice. Thank you.
Who sent their audio in. So fun to be able to celebrate this. All right, so let's celebrate with our community. So Patrick, why don't you share some of these?
I'm going to start walking through some of these. I love Mackenzie saying, by the way, that she woke up to me eating the pepper and just puking because she was asleep in the other room while it was happening.
Oh, she didn't even come in for it?
No, she was asleep. She had been asleep like a couple hours, woke up, heard what was happening, went back to sleep. Ryan Davis, my favorite moment is meeting y'all for the first time on
Wait.
playing The Thing.
Was this when you
that was
shattered
fun.
that glass in the lobby?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had like the pint glasses that they sell at MondoCon, like we just bought, and Patrick knocked his off of the like bar table we were playing this game on, right?
No. In fact, I remember what happened.
Okay, yeah, it's like I
I'll
remember
say
the
it.
aftermath.
I'll say it so that Patrick doesn't get in trouble for saying it. He gave Mackenzie his backpack and she put it in like the side pocket or something like that, and then proceeded to not be as delicate with the backpack as maybe one might with there being a glass in it, and there was much shatter.
What I do know
Yes.
is I went back the next day and repurchased a glass. So I still have a glass from MondoCon from that year.
But they also told you like these are meant to like not shatter. So the glass like went everywhere all over this hotel lobby.
Yeah, it was a Corningware glass.
You're my oh my gosh. Okay.
That was crazy. That was so funny.
So Mackenzie, by the way, does say that she's very fortunate to meet everybody. So even though it's not a specific moment. Okay, Colin, Art by Colin, he has like a big list, but I'll go through them
These
real
are
quick.
great choices though. He made his own top 5. I love this.
He did
actually.
make his own top 5. So he specifically says on getting to guest on the After the Film about the Batman. He mentions Pop-Up Crop in Portland doing a hot seat. Getting to participate in the Paradox pin that he did, which Andrew and Lauren, I think you're both wearing right now. And then for him specifically, it's the Don Clark interview because that's the first episode that he listened to. That was kind of his entry point, was listening to that interview with Don Clark from Invisible Creature.
I almost use that as one of my top 5 because it was great. So here's the pin. If you want to see it up close, look at it. It's like all the dimensions.
Yeah, it's a great pin.
Of Inception, yeah, it's
Interstellar.
Mackenzie
Oh my gosh,
also
Interstellar
reminded me about visiting Pixar. I forgot that we got to do Pixar.
Yeah. I almost picked Josh.
Yeah, that's freaking cool. Yeah,
he was so kind the way he handled it. Unfortunately, I feel like we went, and it's probably every day, but like, so when you go into Pixar, at least where we went that day, there's like 4 wings, and based on what project they're working on, different wings will be closed to the public, and so you're
even
not allowed
though you sign an NDA. Like the first thing you do when you walk in is sign an NDA.
But they'll still close like entire wings of the facility because they're actively working on something. And I think if I remember, 3 of the 4 wings were closed when we went.
Yeah.
So we got to see all the signatures outside one of the 2 or 4 theaters. And we got to, there was one wing we got to go down.
We didn't even get to go down Josh Holtzclaw's because he was actively working on, I believe, What?
Incredibles 2.
Was it Incredibles 2? Okay.
Yeah. That's so cool, though.
And they had, so at Pixar, they had as a work group, they were doing an art show at the time. And so we did get to walk around the art show and see like those pieces.
Concept sketches and sculptures and all sorts of stuff. Beautiful campus. It's in the middle of, feels like a ghetto, honestly, right? Like
yeah, it was really strange.
It's a beautiful campus that's all completely enclosed in this brick wall with all these beautiful trees. And then just on the outside of that is just like industrial park ghetto area. It's crazy.
Okay, let's see. Jedi mentions hanging out in Disneyland. And then obviously meeting us. We went to Trader Sam's, I guess, together and did a couple of things.
If I'm being
funny
honest,
because I also met Jedi Rabbies at Trader Sam.
If I'm being honest, I'm a little surprised that Jedi remembers that. Let's just say Trader Sam had not a lot to trade after we were done with that little time.
Kate mentions playing games together, and this is actually a good one because we need to play. We need to play another one of these scenarios.
I was thinking about this the other day, the last one.
Yeah.
But mentions playing games together, and then of course doing like trivia night. Yes, exactly. We still have like Act 3 that we haven't done, so we absolutely need to do that on stream.
Yeah.
It was such a pain to do by myself, by the way. Like to set all that stuff up, it was such an absolute pain.
But
we're gonna do
really
it.
Fun though, I will admit.
It's
to
worth
participate, and I didn't have to do all the work.
It's worth it for y'all. So.
Getting to go on a whole vacation with Kate is a really cool thing that happened because of the podcast too.
So this is what Mav says. He says, curious about, so I have to actually take this off so I can read it real quick. He says, curious about your favorite physical things you released as a podcast and maybe the worst thing. So I know the answers to this. Best thing I think is coloring book. Worst thing, and this is no one's fault. We were going to release a pin for Creative South, and the pin was going to have, there's going to be 2 layers, and I was imagining a double layer wood pin, and it was going to be of a campfire.
Yes.
So I was imagining like the top layer is a log, and then you have a second layer that is another log, so you have depth, and then that has fire. And so if you're imagining like a pretty beefy wood pin with some dimension to it, should look pretty nice. Unfortunately, there was some miscommunication, and it got printed on PVC.
Yeah.
And it's still fine.
We ended up not selling them,
and we gave them away, which is it was fine. But I'm just saying, like the wood idea for the depth with the campfire, I think would have worked really well. PVC just didn't translate.
It's still an idea that we can actually execute later because it's a cool idea for sure.
Yeah, but that PVC just didn't translate. Now on the flip side, the other kind of like decor we did for that event turned out great. So like the trees turned out great, and the little campsite we did turned out great.
It was the talk of the conference.
Yeah,
that we had that campsite.
We donated the stuff to the actual theater when we left, and so they wanted to keep it, which was great. And in fact, we've donated all of our sets. So we donated that when we did someone mentioned the couch and the video games that year.
Yeah.
Tornadoes had come through Columbus, Georgia, like a week before Creative South, and we donated that to a family
It was
whose
all
house was
brand
hit
new.
by a tornado.
TV, coffee table, chairs, and
so
couch.
nice.
Like the couch and like I think like a lamp and like all that stuff got donated as well. So so we have always given that stuff away.
That's cool.
Okay, let's see if we have anything else that says. So Adam BN, by the way, I didn't realize jumped in here.
Hang on. Wait. Hang on 1 second. 1 second before we get to that one. Something that was fun that there you
There
go.
it is.
That's what it looks like.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So one of the things that
That's
we
really cool.
did that was physical was on our April 1st episode from 2020 when we did the first ever M of One podcast accessible. So we took the
I remember this.
We
Yeah,
took the audio transcript of our podcast and made it into Braille, but it was print at home Braille.
That's a funny joke.
It is a funny as hell joke, and I still have the actual print off of it. That was a fun one to produce for sure. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I would have loved to gone farther and like bound an entire episode of that. Unfortunately, I didn't have the disposable income to waste on a joke like that. But I thought it was
maybe
great.
2024. Maybe
Maybe
2024.
that'll be it. Adam BN mentions the speech chamber, which we talked about, which is great. Specifically, the memory with Patrick. I think that might have been my single favorite speech chamber story. He tells a story where he just poops his pants.
Yep.
And it's amazing. That's like a complete standout moment. And I feel like he told that at like 10 o'clock at night.
It was absolutely hilarious. I wish I could get the audio. There was only a handful of things that were literally lost to time. I was able to find a lot of stuff, and that was not one of them.
Yeah,
I found the artwork. I found the artwork for that episode, but not the actual episode.
Well, that's a big shout to Amazon S3 deep freeze whatever for keeping it all around. So
yeah, thank you for that.
Anyway, and then I had to put this hugs to all from the mom.
So let me just take a second to say hi, Carol, and secondly, because Patrick, you no longer have access to our Instagram because you don't.
I
have
thought you were
going to
say it, Dad. Sorry, keep going.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my God, where's this going?
Listen, I lost my dad and still have one. So
weird stuff, guys.
It's crazy. Between the four of us, 2 of them have died, and we still have 3. Let's just figure out that math. All right. So Carol commented on the post. She said, I didn't even know until just now that you guys live streamed. I will be tuning in now.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad that you did, Carol, because I'm so happy that you did, because I was going to say something earlier and then I was just going to wait and see how everything panned out. So that was perfect timing.
Yes.
All right. So that's it for me. I think those are all my major memories or standouts on the show, but so much has happened. Like I can't say enough
A few people mentioned Jedi's trivia night that we did recently, and that really was super fun. We should definitely do that again sometime.
We will do another one for sure. But yeah, I can't say enough how much being a part of this show has affected my life, and it's just a central part of like who I am and what I do. So yeah, it's awesome.
I think as a tribute to that, Kreider says, I hope by episode 600 I will have fun in-person memories with you. And that's
I think in a couple months, right?
Yeah, I think that's true for most of the people that we interact with. You heard it all the way back from when Micah said, introed us into everything, and he was our first guest, where he said this whole show started because the 3 of us, Luke, Patrick, and myself, sat down, and when we were at lunch with people at the lunch table, they were just entertained by listening to us talk to one another.
Yeah, and so we were like, man, the whole world's got to hear this.
Can you imagine the bravado on us to say,
which leads to episode 1 of Hi, I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Master of the Podcast.
Most exciting podcast in the
Listen
world.
to how excited we are.
But
Matt, there has actually been.
Ooh, yeah, I was just gonna say that was a thing.
M of One Con. There is a full write-up for this.
There's a business plan.
We reached out to potential sponsors about it. We were looking in venues. This is something that
that was when
effort has gone into.
That was when we were literally huge in Japan. Remember we had big numbers in Japan.
I'm always huge in Japan.
Yeah, you are
Literally.
at least 3 Japanese people. No,
You are Godzilla.
Our numbers were insane overseas. Like people were like legitimately tuning in, not just in in our neighborhood, but also in the States and then across.
It was a suspicious number. Because as far as I'm aware, we've never released the show in Japanese. So it was a suspiciously large number.
That's April 1st next year. Our first M of 1 truly accessible. But I remember M of 1 Con, like Master of 1 Con. It was and it has taken on some various iterations over the years in terms of planning. We may still do and should still do like an M of 1 retreat. It's kind of where we've landed. It would be a fun.
It's not done. It's not done.
It's not dead. It's not completely out of the question.
It's also not happening at this point. It's not happening.
It hasn't been done. It's not dead.
So anyway, it's been a heck of
Wes the Farter. Oh, hi Wes.
I said I wasn't going to pass out, and I'm not going to. That story, oh gosh. There's just too many. There's too many stories. We would be here for 6 hours if we were going to do all the stories. So, gosh, any final note on any of this stuff? I mean, this was a fun one. I hope people appreciate the amount of time and energy and effort that goes into doing this each and every week. I know we're celebrating episode 500, but the reality is, I was looking at all the numbers. We have recorded over 750 pieces of content. So the 500th episode, that's just for our weekly show that we do every week. But we have produced over 750 pieces of content. We have been downloaded almost 500,000 times.
Crazy.
It's bonkers, and it's thanks to people showing up and wanting to hear the 3 of us at any given moment talk about how ridiculous our weeks have been and share fun new things that we've been seeing. And it's just been a fun, cool ride. It's not always been easy, so I hope that people appreciate that we're still around and still kicking and we're having a good time.
Aw.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. That's all I needed. I needed affirmation and awes.
Yes.
So is that going to be it for this episode?
Let's give away a sign.
Let's give away a sign.
Yeah, let's give away a sign.
Okay, what did you see, Luke? What did you see?
Did you play the clip already?
We did not play the clip. We have some guesses. We have Andrew talking about a toy, Patrick talking about something that happened in the bathroom, Patrick talking about a movie that annoyed him. We have Patrick talking about Creative South, and there was one other one.
This burger is super cold and super gross.
Oh, you waited till now? No, my fries are inedible.
Patrick talking about his 34%.
I hope it's about Patrick. Come on.
If it's about his 34%, I quit the show now.
Mackenzie said Andrew talking about Creative South.
Right. Okay, that's what it was. All right, so nobody guessed me.
Of Patrick talking about something that's annoying.
Nobody guessed me, but we'll see what that means. Patrick, do you have the clip?
Wait, are you talking about what you sent me?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
I'm just really bad at putting two and
You sent it to the least responsible person, Luke. You should have known
You said to send it to him.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. I didn't even look at this till just now. Okay.
And for the 500th time.
Math. Luke talking about Patrick being the worst.
I remember this.
Wow. I can't play my audio through here.
What?
Why?
Oh, send it to Patrick.
I'll send it to Andrew.
Send it to Andrew. That's the word.
Guys, we're doing great.
The other guy.
But now I know what this is, and I love it, but I have to send it to Andrew.
So funny.
All right, so everybody who guessed Patrick is in the running for the sign. So we have...
All right.
But just to be clear, Mackenzie guessed Andrew. What did Becca guess?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Andrew, go to Host Lounge. Can you see that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, great. Play that for us.
Okay, let me get this queued up.
That's sorry, I don't have my audio.
She said Andrew as well.
Mackenzie, I swear, Mackenzie, I love you.
Oh gosh, I remember it started playing on audio, or it started playing automatically. So
I haven't heard this in years, and I can quote it.
I don't know what's coming. I'm excited.
Okay, I hope people find it as funny as we do because I'll be sad if they don't.
It's only 4 seconds.
No way
long.
they will.
Yeah,
this will not be funny to
seconds.
you.
But this pops up. Gosh, don't do anything yet, Patrick. Leave it.
I still have this gobo, by the way.
Okay, don't
or
do
like
anything with
whatever
it
you
yet.
call it.
Leave it
I
off for just a second. This still gets shared among the three of us. Gosh, every year or two. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's legitimately a thing that is still part of it, just like the passing out thing. But this never made it public domain. So this is the first time that we're ever actually sharing this.
Yep.
Okay, so let me get this made full screen again. And
I believe in you.
Hang on. It wants to autoplay, and that's what I'm having to keep it from.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we. Okay, take it full screen, Patrick. Here we go.
Animals screw like rabbits, especially rabbits. What?
wait. For those of you who blinked and missed it, here it is one more time.
Animals screw like rabbits, especially rabbits. What? That's the whole thing.
That's it.
So okay, but there's more story to this.
Yeah.
The story is that we were going to film.
You're echoing.
It's Andrew that's echoing. I'll mute him. It's fine. So the story is that we were going to film like actual like intro videos for I think like YouTube and things like that, and so and for other platforms. So we took the time to create all this,
really good.
And then and we even had this thing produced to like put our logo behind us on the wall, which we ended up melting in the process of doing this and like destroying the only copy of.
Yeah,
and
we
so
did.
I have it somewhere in this room right now. But anyway, all this footage was lost. So like we have this clip that we shared, but if I remember right, something happened and like the other footage was corrupted and we never actually put these videos together.
I put that out and sent it to you guys in Slack or something at the time. And then it was on my hard drive that was stolen out of my backpack.
In Ohio.
When we went Andrew and I went to go see Joe Ledbetter.
Yeah.
And you got all of your stuff replaced because of the insurance money. I did not.
Yeah, there's no way to know that.
Sad.
Oh, I
There's
still
no way
know
to know
that
that.
for sure.
Nah,
yeah.
So that is like the only clip that exists
Of
from
that time.
several hours of
Oh
doing
my gosh,
that.
so many hours.
Well, what a great
So
clip.
many hours that it literally melted the gobo. Like it's
And so
So the winner of the sign then would be Kreider Designs. He guessed Patrick, and he said Patrick talking about something having to do with the bathroom. So I think that's the closest.
I love it.
It's close. There
It
is
was potty
one
talk, for
picture
sure.
That
I
was a
wanted
good-
to
that was a
show
really good
tonight
clip.
that I texted to Lauren and Andrew, but in fairness, I don't think I can show it on Twitch without getting our stream banned. So.
Is it my photo I sent you? Yeah. It's the
Yeah, you
best.
in shock when I opened that.
What photo did you? Oh, I said I wasn't gonna pass out.
Listen, you people watching, I want to show you this picture so bad. I genuinely think it's against Twitch terms of service, and so I can't show you.
If you go to M of One Slack, I'll post it in Slack.
Okay, he'll post it. Yeah, go to.
Can we tell the story though?
Yes.
Because the story is almost as good as the picture. So don't post it in Slack yet.
Okay.
Here's the story. We were in Portland, and I don't know if you guys know
sorry.
Portland. There's like a Portland staple, and it's Powell's Books in Portland. By Patrick. Powell's Books.
Be right back.
And it's a massive bookstore. It's like a 3 or 4 story bookstore, and one of the bathrooms are on one level for whatever reason. They're just in one level, and the bathrooms are right next to. Well, that doesn't matter yet. So we went to the bathroom. Luke and I found the bathroom. We went to the bathroom, and I had to make as the kids say, make brown. And I should be telling this story with the speech jammer. That's the only thing that would make this better. I had to go to the bathroom, and so oh my God. I walked in, and initially, like my first thought was, okay, I could see over the top of the stall. Like I could see over. Like my eyes were over it while I was standing in the stall, and I could see Luke walking up to the urinal, and it's like, okay, that's fine. And then so I sit down to start going to the bathroom, and then I realized like it's super drafty, and the side partition, like the wall, felt like it was real high. And let me see if I can demonstrate on. I think I'm too. I think the camera's up too high, but. I was like, hey, Luke. I was like, hey, Luke, can you see my butt? And Luke was like, Luke took a second. He said, no, man, no, you're fine. I'm like, what? Okay. And then I took my hand, like, just pretend this is my butt. I took my hand next to my butt, and I went like this, and it was passing underneath the stall. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, man, you're fine. I'm like, okay. And then about 30 seconds later, a photo came through as a text into my phone. And that photo is what you will see if you are part of our Slack community. And there was serious laughter, serious embarrassment. Here's what we figured out. Here's what I figured out. Literally just now. Here's what I just realized. We went to the bathroom in the kids section. It was a kids bathroom. I'm just now realizing it. What? My.
Still would expose like the children that are going to the
and
bathroom.
The door was open.
The door was open.
Propped open.
The door was propped open because it was a kid's bathroom. They didn't want any
like children getting locked inside.
And that is also a photo that gets shared every couple of years. It just makes its way in.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Hey, Carol. Hey, Carol. So happy to have you on this episode. Goodness gracious. I think that's the best note for us to go out on. No story was left behind.
Yeah. Oh boy, that was a good one.
Okay, everybody. I think we need to exit this episode. You guys are fantastic. We're not going to roll our dice on this show because this one's just going to be a little time capsule for us. We'll roll our dice off air, and we'll be back next week with your regularly scheduled programming. But thank you for celebrating 500 episodes with us, and let's do this again soon. All right, because this was a fun one. But for now, I'm at Andrew Sale with 3's instead of E's on the socials. Lauren, where do they find you?
I'm at Not Cool Co. everywhere.
Luke?
Luke Gall on Instagram.
And Patrick?
I'm not.
You're at M of One Podcast. That's where
Sure, yes, thank you.
That's where you are.
And the responses will sound mysteriously like Lauren.
They will sound very much like Lauren or Andrew. But for the 500th time, we're going to get out of this episode. I'm Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Luke.
There we go. I'm Patrick.
Peace out.
Adios.
Hold on to your butts.
Bye. Everybody start waving. You're gone. You're gone. Luke's gone.